Most wholesalers don't fail because they lack information. They fail because they run away from the storm. You prayed for rain. Now stop crying about the mud that comes with it. A lot of wholesalers say they want more deals, more growth, more opportunity, more income, more freedom. But what they really want is all of that without the storm. And that's not how this works. Lately, I've been thinking about the value I've been able to bring inside Titanium. Not just helping people with deals, not just sharing experiences, not just helping folks salvage contracts or think through situations. What I'm most proud of is helping people hang in there just for one more day, one more phone call, one more week. Helping people stay in the fight long enough to become dangerous. And that's something I'm going to start sharing more outside of Titanium. So keep your ears to the ground, because if you listen closely, you just might hear some noise about a movement of new wholesaling assassins. Now, let me tell you about the cow. If you walk up next to a cow and push it to the left, it moves left. If you push it to the right, it moves right. If you tip it over, game over. It's done. A cow lets outside forces dictate everything. Now think about a rhino. Can you even stand next to a freaking rhino? Can you push a rhino to the left? Can you push it to the right? Absolutely not. You cannot move it. And that matters, because in wholesaling, in sales, in entrepreneurship, in life, in any game where you eat what you kill, life is going to push on you. Deals are going to fall apart. Sellers are going to ghost you. And buyers, they're going to beat you up. They're going to disappear. Title is going to get messy. And that's another video by itself. Your confidence is going to get tested. Your discipline, it's going to get exposed. And in those moments, you have a choice. You can be the cow and let life push you around until you fold, or you can be a freaking rhino and give life the horn. And that leads me to the second story, the cow and the bull. When a storm is coming, the cow runs away from it. It thinks, if I run fast enough, I can escape from the storm. But guess what? The storm moves too. So the cow, it ends up running with the storm, stuck in it longer, wet longer, cold longer, miserable longer. Running from the inevitable. That's what it's doing. But the bull on the other hand, does something different. The bull runs straight into the storm. Yeah, he gets hit by the rain. Yes, he gets rocked by the wind. And yes, he gets dirty and muddy. But because he runs through it, he gets right through it faster. And that's the lesson. Because when the chips are down, when the calls aren't converting, when you're questioning yourself, when this phone feels heavy, that's when the best salesperson in the world shows up at your doorsteps. And who's that best salesperson in the world? Self-doubt. And that voice, folks, is dangerous because it sounds logical. It says, study a little bit more. Get your numbers tighter first. Watch one more video. Go through the modules again. What if you make the wrong offer? Maybe next week. Maybe when you're more ready. But a lot of times, that's not preparation. That's avoidance. That's you being the freaking cow. You're not running away from failure, folks. You're running from discomfort. You're running from sounding dumb. You're running from making the wrong offer. You're running from having to renegotiate. You're running from having to cancel. It's scary. You're running from the messy parts of the business that actually makes you better. In other words, you're running from the storm. But here's the problem. The storm is where the growth is. That's where you learn the difference between a good deal and a bad one. That's where you learn how to navigate title issues. That's also where you learn how to get price drops. That's where you learn how to recover. Most importantly, that's where you learn how to freaking close. And while you're busy running away from the storm, someone else is charging through it. It's that hungry 19-year-old kid that doesn't know any better. Your competition. And the people you'll be comparing yourself to 6 months from now, they're not just smarter than you, they just chose differently. They chose speed, they chose volume, they chose to get 10% better every single day. They chose to create their own reality. So let's call this what it is. The moment you decided to enter this game, you decided to enter the storm. The moment you decided you wanted growth, you prayed for rain. And when you pray for the rain, you better be ready. You better be ready for the mud that comes with it. So, as you go into this week, ask yourself, am I going to let life push me around like a cow? Or am I going to charge through this thing like a bull, stand firm like a freaking rhino, and become the person this business is trying to build? So folks, moral lesson of the story, don't be a fucking cow. Till next time, speed and volume, speed and volume.